Lumabala mentioned in one of the videos that I made, I think in 2023, he said to me that, dude, we already know that you were the dude. You just needed to turn the corner. All they did was provide a platform, provide a foundation of already what I seeked. Here we are back once again. It is I who's truly the maniac, Thandong Konyana, back with another amazing episode of the Motivational Maniac podcast. This is another segment that we go through called Current State of Mind. We greet this episode in the holy name of Shiva. We're thankful for the higher power and the higher one for protecting us, keeping us up until this point, man. Change of seasons. Obviously, with the change of season comes change of territory. It comes with a change of mindset as well. Adaptation is one of the most important thing. This is my reflection as we close off the third month, which is the first quarter of 2026, and we are trying to reflect most importantly on what we have done up until this point. Reflection is so important, man, especially in your lives. Nothing comes good if you constantly are impulsive and always trying to live all the time. There must be time that you must also take for you to take stock of everything, how everything that you have done has led you up until this point. But the next instinctive destination that you need to take is the journey going forward. Sometimes we want to look back. There's nothing wrong in looking back. I look back a lot. I reflect on the amazing things that I've done to get me up until this point. The stupidity that I had to indulge myself into. I'm glad to say that I don't regret any of that because they led me up until this point. Sometimes we reminisce so much that we think we can live a certain thing twice. That's impossible, man. Let's stop trying to make things as they were in the previous past. The reason why it panned out that way was because of the mindset and the position that we were in our lives. But let's also acknowledge that life eventually does go on, man. And in me listening to Tupac's music, one of our revolutionaries when it comes to not just uplifting music, but poetry itself, man. Life goes on and we have to pick up the pieces. We have to gather ourselves. There's a lot of things that we should be indulging ourselves into, and it just comes with the territory, man. I wouldn't be here if I didn't move on. There were very hurtful things that actually happened, man, for me. And every time I had victory over those hurtful things, I got a reminder that nothing in your life comes without any lessons. And when something is still happening and new at the same time, you think, oh God, when will this actually come to an end? But I'm here to guarantee you that it will eventually come to an end. No storm comes in your life to stay. It's only for the meantime. And I had a conversation with one of my colleagues, man, a very insightful conversation about why not during stormy times that you ask for God to give you the wisdom to withstand the storm instead of wanting God to take you out of the storms. We all have different means of referring to the higher power, God, Allah, Shiva. And you probably know about me starting every episode greeting you in the holy name of Shiva. But the main thing is that you are all referring to the creator, the designer. You see, umenzi. the one who made you. And during stormy times, I learned to lean onto the higher power. I ask for guidance. I ask for wisdom, most importantly, and I ask for endurance, not for God to take me out of this. And my amazing colleague, if you don't mind me actually telling them you're lame, Malika, thank you so much for that insightful conversation, because it took me back to a very stormy period of my life. And I didn't even know that during that time I was doing what you actually were talking about. And I think every human being does go through that, where no other human being is going to be there for you except yourself. But who do you lean on during hard times? Do you lean onto your Creator? Do you lean onto your ancestors? Do you lean onto yourself? Because it was very lesson driven, man. I wouldn't want to change that for nothing when it comes to those years. I had an amazing mom. My dad was not present. I had siblings, I had neighbors, I had friends. And come to think about it, you become who you hang around with. I hang around myself more often than I do around other people. But I also went through the phases. I was in bad friendships. I was influenced to do stuff that was not good for me. And where did all that stuff take me? It led me to hell. The road to hell is always going to be paved with good intentions. People taking you to hell are not going to tell you they're taking you to hell, but you will foresee the outcomes of those decisions. I want to say thank you to Mom. You know, our parents, they always have this conversation with us that I don't like that friend of yours, or I don't like you going to certain places. You're still young at the time and you're like, why is Mom trying to prevent me from living, man? Until one day it eventually makes sense. At the start of my teenage life, I didn't have the best of relationships with my mom, because I was always in a state of trying to blame her. Why was our dad not in our life? And in a sense, it was very unfair on her, because it wasn't her job to know where my pops went. Her job was to be there for us. She is the one that chose to stay. And all this bitterness and anger, I lived with all of that. Then I started to see, this is me reflecting years after, especially in my early 20s, that the love that I didn't get from my mom, because I was in a blame state towards her and why our father was not in our lives, I seek that love in other means. I started to become this person who just threw himself everywhere. Impulsive relationships, seeking approval. And I don't want to lie, I became very miserable. Very, very miserable. Because I was projecting. That lack that I was actually suffering from, when it came to home, I projected that in my relationships. I was always looking for a mother figure, that mother's love. So instead of me looking for a girlfriend / partner, I was looking for someone to be my mom. It got me to a point where I became needy. Emotional intelligence was at its lowest. Plenty of these relationships blew out in my face. Plenty of these relationships nearly put me to the core, where I even wanted to end my life. Because you are in this state of bewilderedness. You don't understand when you do certain things why you're not getting a certain outcome. Remember, you have an emotionally unavailable mother tongue. You are also impulsive. You're not getting what you want. And also you don't have any form of guidance. Like male guidance. There's no male figure that is trying to teach you things from the male perspective. Instead, you're winging it, you're figuring it out as it goes. And that now exposes you to very bad examples. But how do you get to the point where now you can be able to distinguish from those bad examples to the good examples? I first had to be in the dust. I had to be around the wrong company for me to see that, oh shit, come to think about it, I ain't getting young. In fact, I'm getting older. The question of who am I becoming because of these people I'm around was definitely non-existent. But remember, I already had the foundation. I knew it was. Then midway through my high school life, failure came. I think in a way, that failure gave me an opportunity to remove the curtain of bewilderment. This facade I was living, now it gave me an opportunity to strip that facade. Because I wrote this status the other day that says, loss is only when you quit, not when you fail. I failed at that time. I didn't quit. I came back there. I held my head high. I took my losses like a man. I was a boy there. But the main thing is that I took accountability. I took initiative. I bossed myself. I'm like, I am the person to blame for everything. There were things that were not my fault. There were things that were my fault. But the main thing is that we took accountability. That was no time for me to debate on where did I go wrong? What could I have done better? Because now we're not in a position to be in a state of regret. Instead, we need to be in a position of grace. What can we do going forward to make things a little bit better? Yes, they are worse now, but how can we make it a little bit better? And how do we approach the macro with the micro mindset? First thing, change of circle. This is where Lubabalo Chadam Sipa comes into my life. Shout out to my best friend, man. Shout out to my best friend. Appreciate that man for everything he's done for me. Appreciate the love, bro. Appreciate everything that you've done. There are rooms where you probably walk in, I'm like, there's this dude, man. There's this dude. The same way then when I walk into rooms, bro, and I shout your name at the top of my voice. You're more than a friend, you're my brother, bro, but I appreciate that. So Lubabalo Chadam Sipa was part of the circle. That's the first thing. Who are we hanging around with that we no longer need to hang around? Who are the people who are going to be supportive of the state of going forward, of not looking back? We already know, we already saw what the previous circle got us up to. It got us to a point where we failed. But at the end of the day, we needed to take accountability. Lubabalo mentioned in one of the videos that I made, I think in 2023, he said to me that, dude, we already know that you were the dude. You just needed to turn the corner. All they did was provide a platform, provide a foundation of already what I seeked. Because remember, it was a door that was already open. I needed to just walk into it. accountability street, guys. If you have watched this season, from the episode in which we started 2026, our main initiative was to become a devoted resident of Accountability Street. And this is a reflection of one of the failures that reminded me that Accountability Street, you need to have people that are going to hold you accountable to the person that you want to be. Yes, they're going to say things that you don't like, but those things are necessary because honesty is how you unlock progress. You think people are going to not tell you the truth, but you want to proceed and do better? It don't work that way, ma'am. It don't work that way, sir. Stop being around people who are going to comfort you. The lies that they're telling you are the comfort, but the truth is the one that frees you. Freedom. So now the love that I seek in those relationships on Accountability Street, I started to seek that for myself. I started to make it a mission to know who I am, where my strengths lie, and most importantly, accepting where I came from. A year of failure was a very pivotal moment in terms of accepting my childhood, how I grew up, my family, the traumas that they went through, traumas that I are still going through right now. Starting to understand what had happened for it to lead up until this. Because every action has a consequence. Those small decisions that you make each and every day, they compound and they lead to the ultimate outcome, which is where you are right now. So now, sitting on Accountability Street, Thando has to ask himself, what are the small things that we need to do now to get where we want to go? To make sure we get where we are supposed to go. You get me? First of all, get rid of people's opinions about you. The world is going to forever stay judging you. The less you judge yourself and the less you get rid of the opinions of them, the better your life becomes. Instead, look upon your Creator. What does your Creator think about you? It don't matter what someone else thinks about you, but what do you think about yourself? What does your Creator think about you? Turn to Him. That is how self-accountability looked. We took it day by day, month by month, and then we started to get the results. Progress is not measured in a day. Can't be measured in a month. Can't be measured in a year, 2 years, 3 years. In fact, you're the one who decides the metric. There are things that you're doing right now that are leading you to become this person that you want to be. But because you're not critical about asking the important questions, you care more about things that don't matter to you. What's on TV? Who and who bought what? That thing don't matter to you. And you can't run. You definitely can't run from yourself your whole life. Year 2, we're making progress. We are shaking off the opinions. We're shaking off all this inconsistency, that weight that comes with people's opinions, because they do not uplift you. They don't give you a sense of purpose. They don't uplift you. But instead, they make you think less of yourself. Year 2. Leaving home. One of the hardest decisions ever. I got into this big argument with my mom. I think it was 3 months into the new year at the time. I kept on asking, like, Mom, why don't you care about my education? And you know what my mom told me? She told me, you don't go to school for me, you go to school for yourself. Damn. Another reality check. Another goddamn reality check. You don't go to school for me, you go to school for yourself, Tangi. You go to school to educate yourself, not me. I already went to school, I did my deeds. I already lived. Now it's time for you to live. And in that year of repeating, the most important person I had was my grandfather. My grandfather asked me one of the most impactful questions ever. He asked me, do you want to sit here and become like this place? Or are you going to get up and make a different decision? Trust me, if you sit here, you're going to end up here. Look around you. I don't need to explain it to you. All I need to do is remind you that the decision of you staying here, you want to live with this outcome that you see. By the decision of making a different decision and go back, go and fight, go gather your strength, go take accountability, you're going to be far. So this argument led to me making the decision that I need to leave home. In me leaving home, I had a lot of people in mind. And eventually I settled on this family. Yeah. Me just thinking about it just makes me want to cry, man. A trip down memory lane. It makes me realize how blessed I was, bro. I actually was blessed. I didn't realize how me talking about this will actually bring tears to my... But this is a self-diary, man. This is personal journey. I walked up there and said, look, I want to finish school, man. That's the most important. Like, that was my ultimate. I want to finish school, but my home environment is not allowing me to be in a position where I can finish school. I need to be away from all that distraction. I don't care what I have to do to make it happen, but please make it happen. She took me in, and for that entire year, damn, man. Oh, shit. The motherly love came back, bro. That warmth, that assurance, that reminder that you're doing it for you. Oh, shit. Ndiyabulela, baba. You don't know how you did so amazing for me. And you were reminded that there are people that actually care about me. And this pivotal point in my life, guys, reminds me that whatever you seek, you're going to find, man. I seeked out an environment that was going to be healthy and enable me to be in a position where I could succeed and finish school. I could have sat home after my mom told me what she told me and just sit there and be sorry for myself. Oh, is this what she thinks about my education? Why doesn't my mom care? But in actual fact, she was telling me the truth. You're going to school for yourself. It's your own life that you're gonna have to answer for. So I went to school battered, no food in my stomach, scraping by, having to find money just to travel. The rest I will see when I get back. It was a struggle, bro, but the spirit, man, of wanting to be there, that's the thing that drove me the most. Yes, it was a hard lesson for me to take, man, but it was also the necessary lesson. My mom, in a way, she was preparing me for myself because eventually she knew I'm gonna finish school and then come back. And to me, that's the most important thing. Everything that you have gathered, you have to come back and actually pour back home. There's many families I got to live with during my high school life, and one of the key components in which I saw in within these family dynamics is family always cares about one another. We might not agree with one another, we might not be on the same page, but if a family member is in trouble and they need help, you put our differences aside and help regardless. But remember, these are things that we have to be intentional about when we build families. So remember, now I am a observer of these things while living in these homes. Appreciate to everyone who's done that, from Yolisa to Lamuna to Noluvo, to everyone who's done it. Appreciate y'all. Because now you planting ideas in my head. Remember, I'm the one who has to observe and try to digest, okay, this was the idea of something that I was always looking for. Now I'm seeing these family dynamics. And I'm like, shit. Literally, when I build a family, this is the kind of shit that I want to bring back home. This is what I want my family to have as a family. And then I got my first job. Literally a day after my last exam. You see, certain things happen when you are in certain places, man. I believe in go force the life in. Yeah. In a sense, if you don't persist, it's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna tell you when it is gonna happen, but I'm just saying you have to persist, man. Persevere. When you already know what you want for yourself and you dead on about that, you have to persist and persevere, man. Up until it happens. It didn't make sense at that time, and my first job was selling sneakers, bro. Shout out to you, Elisa Bruce Makazi, for that, bro. Thank you for the plug, bro. Thanks to your grandma. Thanks to your mom, your aunt, your uncles, everyone in their fam, bro. Thank you guys for welcoming me with a very warm heart. Because you were planting a foundation on me. You were helping me live, become a person. And I can't thank you enough for the opportunities that you guys presented me with. And the best way in which I could repay you is to make my life a success. For people to have gone out of their way to help you, the best thing you can ever reward them is making something out of your life, man. There's no amount of monetary value that can be able to return what you guys did for me, but damn, man, I'm privileged, bro. I was privileged at that time to be going through so much, and yet I had so much going for me. I wasn't even at home, bro. I wasn't even around my mom, my sisters, but I had plenty of shit going for me, man. That is what I'm utmost grateful for. It wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for you guys. It's a combination of all these people, and my success is not going to be mine alone. It's going to belong to every single individual that helped me when I didn't have food, my stomach, a roof over my head, encouraging words. Some words were not even said, the opportunities that I was given, because now it opens you up to doors. Because you are also harassing you. We are forced. You are persistent now. You see? So you attract the energy that you put out there as well. Not because I left home because I wanted to. It's because I needed to. If I didn't make that decision to leave home, this podcast doesn't exist. Tana doesn't sit in this place that you see him sitting now. He doesn't say these words that he's saying to you if it wasn't for that. So why must I take it for granted? Why should I? Why should I be ungrateful? I could choose to say everything was on me. Nobody helped. And that's our mistake. That's our biggest downfall as human beings. To think that everything that has happened is because of us only. What about God? Why are we not embracing and involving the higher power in everything that we do? Why do we want to call upon God when shit hits the fan? What about when things are going good? Your life might be in turmoil right now, but there's plenty for you to be grateful for. The